Hi, I'm Stuart Malina, Music Director of the Greenwich Symphony Orchestra, and I'm here to invite you and give you a short overview of our opening weekend's programs. These concerts are going to be on Saturday, September 21st at 7:30 in the evening, and the next day, Sunday, September 22nd at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. All of this happens at the Performing Arts Center at Greenwich High School, the very beautiful hall that we get to play in. And the program is a very beautiful one. We begin with music by Valerie Coleman. Valerie Coleman is one of the stars of the current composing scene. She combines both a sense of American music with her African-American heritage, and it creates a very beautiful musical language within which she works. The piece we're going to play is called Umoja. Umoja is the Swahili word for unity, and it also is one of the principles of Kwanzaa. And the idea of this piece is a call for unity. If there ever was an appropriate piece for our times, then this is it. The history of Umoja is an interesting one. She wrote this piece about 20 years before the orchestral version was made, and she wrote it for women's chorus. And the idea of the piece was to create a sense of a drum circle and call and response. This piece then became a piece for woodwind quintet, which she adapted for her own woodwind quintet, the Imani Winds. And then in about 5 years ago, she made it into a full-blown orchestral work. And although she didn't lose the sense of the drum circle or the original theme and the feeling of call and response, what she did do is expand the language of the piece to be a little bit more universal. You get elements of Appalachia, in particular, the opening statement of the theme. This is how the theme goes, and you'll hear it first in the violin, just a solo violin, our concertmaster, and this is what it sounds like. It's a simple melody, it's a heartfelt melody, and in this piece, Umoja, she'll take this melody and put it through many different transfigurations. You'll hear it in various instruments of the orchestra with various rhythmic and textural backgrounds, but you'll also hear long sections of more intense, more angry, more disturbing music. And this is her presentation of the evils of our world, the challenges to unity, the idea of hate and bias and prejudice that infiltrates our world today. If there ever was a piece that is for today, I think that this is probably it. And I will read a short quote that she put at the beginning of this because I think it does capture her intentions for the piece. This version honors the simple melody that ever was, but is now a full exploration into the meaning of freedom and unity. Now more than ever, Umoja has to ring as a strong and beautiful anthem for the world we live in today. I think it's a wonderful opening to our program, and what follows is one of the great pieces ever written for orchestra, Stravinsky's second of the three great Ballet Russe ballets, Petrushka. The Ballet Russe was a ballet company in Paris run by Diaghilev. Sergei Diaghilev was a great bringer together of great talent. Artists for the sets, choreographers for the dancing, composers. And he created these wonderful productions. One of the first productions he did was The Firebird in 1910, Stravinsky's first great ballet. A year later, he produced Petrushka, and in Petrushka, we begin to hear Stravinsky moving more into the world of modernism. You still have plenty of tonality, still plenty of beautiful melodies, some feeling of traditional Russian melody, some feeling of Russian liturgical melody, but also plenty of Western music influences as well. But you also have new explorations harmonically, in particular the use of what people call popularly the Petrushka chord, which is a C major chord over an F sharp major chord. And that becomes the chord that represents the character of Petrushka. So who is Petrushka? Petrushka is a doll. In our culture, we know him as Punch, as in Punch and Judy. He's a clown, and he is also aggressive. There's a lot of punching and fighting and hitting, all for comic effect, but there's definitely a dark side to Petrushka. And in the ballet Petrushka, it takes place at a Shrovetide fair. The Shrovetide fair is kind of like Carnival in South America, pre-Lent, a huge, fantastical celebration. At this celebration, a magician appears in front of a puppet theater. The curtain of the puppet theater parts, and you see three dolls, which the magician brings to life. Petrushka, the clown, the ballerina, and the Moor. And the action of Petrushka is Petrushka's love for the ballerina, but she's in love with the Moor. And so Petrushka is constantly fighting with the Moor. Eventually, at the end of Petrushka, the Moor will kill the clown, and the crowd is horrified. The magician then demonstrates that it's just a puppet. And yet, after the crowd has dispersed, Petrushka appears as a ghost, cursing the magician. It's a dark story, but it takes you through so many different scenes. And the setting of the fair, of the Shrovetide Fair, allows Stravinsky to present all kinds of different dances from different things that you might see at the fair, including a bear, including maidservants, including gypsies, and other phenomenal dances. It's one of the wonderful works for orchestra. It's a real virtuoso work for an orchestra to play, with many memorable, fantastic solos. I'm very excited to hear our orchestra playing this, and that will bring our first half of the concert to a close. The second half of our concert is devoted to one of the most beloved piano concertos in the entire repertoire, and that is Tchaikovsky's first piano concerto. It's the first of three piano concertos that Tchaikovsky wrote, but it's by far, leaps and bounds, the most popular of the three. It opens with one of the great melodies. It was made into a popular song in the 1940s, I believe, maybe the 50s. That melody should be familiar to everybody. It begins with the full orchestra setting up the piano with this beautiful introduction. What's interesting is Tchaikovsky starts the piece with this wonderful theme. We get a couple of iterations of it, and then he ships it off. It's done. We never hear it again. It doesn't return triumphantly at the end of the first movement. Rather, it's kind of just like, this is a great melody, just wait until you see what else I have in store for you. And as soon as this melody is done, we get the normal sonata form with two beautiful themes, a second movement that's incredibly lyrical and song-like, contrasted with a section that feels like a scherzo, a very fast-moving, exciting presentation of music. And then the last movement, again, is in two different themes. The first is a beautiful dance, a very energetic, lively dance, and the second is another spectacular Tchaikovsky melody. I think it makes for a wonderful concert. We're delighted to be featuring pianist Orion Weiss, who's going to be amazing you with his beautiful virtuosity, but also at the same time, his incredible musicianship. I'm very excited for this collaboration. and for our audience to hear us performing this beautiful music together. Again, the performance is at the Performing Arts Center at Greenwich High School on Saturday, September 21st at 7:30 and Sunday, September 22nd at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. If you're interested in learning more about this program and hearing a much more in-depth discussion of the program, we are posting as well a longer pre-concert lecture that will talk in much greater depth, particularly about Petrushka, and a little bit about Valerie Coleman and Tchaikovsky's musical language. So I encourage you to check that out. But more importantly, I hope we'll see you at the concert and enjoy it.